Our goals, again, are to examine the roles of leadership in communicating organizational purpose and to design an organizational change management initiative that relates the core leadership tasks to their role in affecting organizational change. So specifically in this video, our topics are going to include developing and communicating organizational purpose, benefits of a clear and consistent organizational purpose, and establishing demanding performance goal. So let's talk about what a leader has to do. Well, there's a lot of different tasks that a leader is required to do so that he or she can have a competitive organization, a highly performing organization. So let's take a look at some of these tasks. The first task is to develop and articulate a clear and consistent sense of purpose and direction for the organization. Setting a vision, creating an ultimate strategy would be an example of the first task. And we're going to get into these in a little bit more detail here shortly. Task 2, establish demanding performance expectations. This means setting the right goals, making sure that those goals are obtainable but challenging. Task 3, enable upward communication. We've talked about this a lot in our videos. It's so important to be able to not just give an opportunity or a mechanism or a communication channel for people to send information upward, but to develop ways to actually hear what they have to say. Task 4, forge an emotional bond between employees and the organization. Create and establish that trust, that commitment. Another topic we've talked a lot about in this class. And task 5, develop future change leaders. We talked about this when we talked about the make or buy option. When we make our leaders, we do succession planning. We plan to develop the newest and the best leaders based on the people that we have in the company. So let's dig a little bit deeper into each of these tasks. The first task, developing and articulating a clear and consistent sense of purpose and direction for the company. What this tells us, and everybody in the company, is who we are. It's the purpose, why we are doing what we are doing. Many times you'll see the purpose included in a company mission statement. The idea of the purpose is to create a statement that tells everybody the fundamental reasons for the existence of the company. Our reason for being. Let's take a look at the benefits of a clear and consistent organizational purpose. Well, it supports decentralized decision making. We know how important that is. We know we need to flatten that organization so that we can open up those communication channels. So it gives us a common sense of direction and goals. It lets the employees at all different levels of the company to make decisions, to give input, to help the company move forward. It also supports enhanced autonomy. Employees that at every single level are going to understand the goals, the purposes. They can respond quickly, especially in a dynamic environment. It supports coordination. Let's think about it. Employees that are working together towards a common goal are going to be able to communicate their efforts more effectively. So being consistent and clear in what the organizational purpose is also going to help employees at every level align their own strategies, sound familiar, to the corporate strategy. Establishing demanding performance goals. What does that mean? Well, It's all about clearly articulating and challenging performance expectations. Okay, so by creating these goals that are going to drive change, we're going to increase or enhance our employee commitment to take on these new behaviors that we are going to require for outstanding performance. Stretch goals are performance expectations. They're clear. They're challenging. We remove any potential obstacles that might be involved. We clear the way. We set stretch goals because we want to throw out everything that we were doing prior to the change, and we want to look at the problem from an entirely new perspective. Sometimes you'll hear this referred to as looking at a situation through a new lens. Well, that's what this is going to allow us to do. Stretch goals was actually a concept that was conceived by Jack Welch at GE. And he said that it was a great way to get everybody involved in the process and to create this collective energy, these collective change efforts that were built on a drive to achieve better performance. So if a leader is going to be effective, then they have to establish performance expectations. And these expectations are a good example of stretch goals. And some of the key ideas associated with them is we want to make sure that the goal is challenging, but we want to make sure that the goal is obtainable.